Hi y'all, it is the Southern Belle from Hell here, and welcome to my channel if you are new. But if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for tuning back in. Today I have a classical, traditional type of build, a little bit of an old style, and just kind of pretty. I decided to put this in my New Orleans save file that I've been working on and off for like the past year. And I found this blueprint and I just thought it looked so perfect with the way I'm redoing Willow Creek. But I am not planning on making this like a huge house. This is really only a build for like 3 Sims max. But before we get too much into that, we have a word from our sponsor, Instant Gaming. So Instant Gaming is the go-to spot if you want to snag some deals on any game of your choice. They have thousands of titles. It is great for PC, PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox, whatever, you name it. Just scan my QR code or check out my link below and I get a small commission, just a little something to support my channel. But guys, Instant Gaming is legit. I know some of the prices is like, wait, 90% off, how is that even legal? But I promise you it is. So thank you so much to Instant Gaming for sponsoring yet another video. Now, getting back into this build, I struggled a little bit. I wanted kind of a wraparound porch moment because I feel like that is a staple of New Orleans architecture. So we kind of have that. I didn't want it to look like so many of the other builds that I've been doing in this save file. So right now I'm just kind of trying to figure out the layout and how big I want the porch to be. And moving upstairs, I wanted it to kind of open when you walk into the front door, like an open stairway, and then kind of like a winding floor plan like most of the traditional older houses have. And this house only has 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. So even though this house kind of looks big on the outside, it is really not for a huge family. And of course, like when I build, I try to think of the possible Sims that may live here. And I'm just kind of thinking of a single mom with a teenage daughter. Single mom has done very well in life. I'm thinking maybe she's like an art critic, maybe a food critic, and her daughter is very much academia. I'm just thinking like a really affluent type of family. Now, I am not really building a balcony. It's really just for show. I mean, it's not necessarily like for you to use. I mean, you could use it. It's, you know, it wouldn't bother the sim if you did. However, it's not really that big. So this is more just for outside aesthetics only. Right now I'm trying to figure out how I want to do the windows. I definitely wanted it to look like a classical American style in New Orleans. And I'm trying to stick with that with my windows and my doors. And I definitely had to have some freezes. So right now I'm kind of setting up the platform to make sure I have some big lavish freezes when we get to the roofing part. I notice a lot of builders, like they struggle with the freezes, and it is annoying. You really need to put a platform down if you want to add a freeze. And it'll still glitch with like if you have a particular roofing style. So you'll see me mess around a good bit with how I'm doing the roofing. But the windows and the doors just turned out perfect. I kind of did a mix and match between different pieces that we got in Realm of Magic as well as Discover University. Had a brain fart there for a second. But those I don't really use them often, but those two actually married well together in this build. I absolutely love the way this house turned out. If you saw in my thumbnail, it is one of the most beautiful houses that I've ever done. I'm saying that and I'm thinking of some really pretty ones I've done, but this one just seemed like perfect for this world. And as you can see across the street, that was my build that I redid the whole like goth mansion. And yeah, I made it look very, very goth. And I thought, you know, how perfect, have this more traditional type of build right next door to this extremely gothic looking house. You know, when in Rome. So now I'm trying to figure out the roofing because it is messing up with my little miniature balcony. And I do fix it, but I have to use some of the fencing items in the debug menu for it to actually be fenced off, because if you put a roof around an area that has a fence, it will take that fence away because part of the roof is a wall. And that is so annoying. I really wish they would fix that, because when you you do some balcony, you try to have like a balcony moment, and it doesn't look right if you don't have a little bit of roofing around it, but the game will not let you do that. So now I'm going back in and using some fencing items from the debug menu, and it's not as pretty as the fence I had up, but it's still, it still gives that same aesthetic. And that was really all I was searching for. I mean, this is just to be pretty. It's not like for functional purposes whatsoever. So I wrestled with it because it is on a platform. I wanted you to be able to see it over the roof. So that's what I'm messing around with. It took so much time. I was so frustrated, almost abandoned the idea, but I was like, these little tiny balconies, it's like the focal point when you first see the house. So I had to keep it, but it worked out fine. And now we're moving on to these windows in the downstairs. I didn't just want thin, long windows. I wanted a couple of like showpieces to show age to the house. And the windows that we got from Life and Death were so perfect because they still have like this molding around it that looks very classical. It can go with gothic builds, or it could go, with a more almost Victorian type of build like this. It just turned out so pretty. And you can download this off the gallery and make it however you want to make it. But as far as like a particular style, I didn't want to stick with like a traditional, almost like a time period piece when I was decorating the inside. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to show that this is a modern type of family, kind of like how I did with the goth household, where, it's an old house. However, this is, taking place in modern times. So the inside decor is a bit different. I tried to make it look very decorated, very contemporary modern. And I started thinking about like this mom and being either an art or a food critic, and kind of liking everything to have a particular style. And I don't really add many touches of the teenage daughter. I just kind of like decorate her room in a more like sweet, pretty way, not too childish, just very simple. And now you can see, as I mentioned earlier, I'm messing with the roof so it's not cutting into the friezes. It is such a pain in the butt how these friezes will just cut into the roofing. And yeah, you gotta like fiddle with it, and it took me a bit, but I finally got it right to a part where I was very happy with it. I hardly ever use like the green swatch for the roofing, but this house with the red brick that I'm about to put down, it just looks so perfect with it. Like, it didn't look Christmassy. I was afraid that even though this is, Christmas time, I didn't want to make this house look like a Christmas build. And I was worried if I used this green roof, it would look that way. But it didn't. It kind of just like all blended together, and I think it was because of the windows and that shade of green on the shutters, I think kind of made it look a little bit less Christmassy and more of just like, this is the style, this is the aesthetic. This is definitely one of my favorite builds I've done this year. I'm not going to say my favorite build because there's several that I just love, but probably this year this has been my favorite because it just seemed to marry so well together as I was building. And right now I'm trying to be a little bit more decorative with the stairs that lead up into the front porch. I wanted it to look pretty formal, pretty grand. So I just kind of like extend the platform out just a little bit, and I put these pieces from the debug menu to just kind of end off this piece of platform that I have sticking out. And I think it turned out perfect with this style of house. Now for the backyard, I wasn't really sure what to do because I wanted to make it look very formal on the outside, but I still wanted it to be modern. So I decided to kind of do like what I noticed a lot of people that are privileged to have a backyard in New Orleans. They have their traditional fencing, you know, very wrought iron, and they have like this lavish little area, like a little oasis. And I decided to put a pool down and add a little waterfall. I didn't want it to look like a rocky, well, I mean, I do add rocks to it, don't get me wrong, but I didn't want it to look like a natural looking waterfall. I wanted it to have a little bit of like a modern edge to it. So I add this waterfall in, and I'm not sure what pack we got it from. It may be City Living, I'm not sure. I know I've seen it in a couple of places like a bar venue or something in City Living, but I'm not 100% sure. And I just kind of mess with this waterfall piece and try to make it look like it's a piece of the pool that is jutting up. And to kind of hide the little bit of grass, I put down these rocks and just, you know, try to give it a more like cohesive feel. I didn't want to fill it up with plants because we are going to landscape the crap out of these surroundings. I had an idea of exactly how I wanted to landscape this house as soon as I started building it, and I was like, I don't want to put more greenery down because then it'll all just like blend together. So that's kind of my decision-making process with the rocks back there. And I wanted this walkway leading up to have some realism to it. So right now I'm putting down just that swatch that's supposed to be like pine needles, and then I'm going to go over it with a swatch that has these little white grayish bricks. They're not the rocks, but I wanted it to look a little bit more like it's a suburban house in New Orleans. So I put these, I don't know what to call them. They look like little tiles. Now you can see it. Yeah, these little like gray bricks. And to me, I feel like that kind of adds a little bit more of not necessarily like a cottage feel like some of the other rocky swatches give us, but more like you live in a populated area. I could be wrong here, but to me it felt a little bit more fitting with the environment that this house was in. And right now I am just kind of connecting the backyard to the front yard, and I'm going to really go in with a bunch of bushes and little trees. I put some flowers down, but they're very few and far between. I put some flower bushes down because it just looked a little bit more like planted and put together. In a lot of my builds, I try to use like flowers and plants that look very natural, like it's just a part of the environment. Nobody planted them or anything. But for this type of house, I wanted it to look very intentional. So I spent a lot of time landscaping this because I just felt like this outside of the house just had to go well with this type of world, and really try to put forth like the whole New Orleans feel. Like this could be on the Garden District house tour. And if you have never been to New Orleans, definitely go on their house tours, because that is one of the reasons why I love New Orleans, is the architecture and these old homes, the history behind them. It's just beautiful, and it's like every house has a story. Every house has its own specific design. They may be similar, but they're also very different. And Yeah, and that's why I had to do like a New Orleans save file that I am still not done with yet, but it has been a labor of love. Right now I'm adding just a bunch of different color greenery. I didn't want this to be like lavish with flowers. I wanted a bunch of shrubs. And that differentiation in size, I felt like gave this lot a more like artsy feel, and all the different textures. I just ended up really, really loving how the outside of this house looked, and I use a ton of it. I am sizing them up and down and all around. I just had a lot of fun with this. I usually try to landscape all of my builds really, really well, because that's just like a part of the build that I enjoy. I know some people like that is the worst thing. They absolutely hate landscaping. They want to hurry up and get inside and decorate. But I love this part of the build. It's relaxing to me, and I start like seeing it come together, I guess. Once all the plants and trees, all that stuff is down, I'm like, oh, okay, I am starting to see like the personality of this house and the people that live in it. So yeah, I just keep adding things, and finally I'm kind of happy with where I'm at. And I wanted to kind of have a separation between this sidewalk that is to the left side of the house, and I was kind of struggling with it. I was like, do I want to add more plants? And I'm like, oh, that would cover the walkway. So I decided to go back into the debug menu and grab the red brick wall and size it down just a smidge. And that kind of gave that separation that I wanted without completely taking up the little pathway that I built. And it still looked very formal. It went with the style of the house, and yeah, I was just extremely happy with like everything that was coming along. And I wanted to add like a little bit of grass around the fence just to, you know, make it blend in, make it look a little bit more realistic. Now for this backyard, I didn't put a whole lot down. I ended up putting a diving board, some seating areas, a little fire pit. A lot of the stuff, like, you know, for social gatherings is on the porch itself, because we have a lot of sitting area outside. We have the backyard, and we have the front porch, which is a lot bigger. So there are a ton of seating areas around this house, and it is really, really pretty aesthetically. But sometimes, especially like when I have a big family and I have a lot of, you know, seating areas outside, it annoys me. They keep wanting to go outside in random spots. And then, you know, you have your Sims, you know, God bless them. It'll be pouring down raining, or a blizzard will happen. You tell them to go read a book. For some reason, they're like, okay, I'll go outside, even though you've got more than enough chairs inside. So if you do not like having all of these porches, you can easily just move the walls and make it one big area and just have like a little space. But one of the things with the houses in New Orleans, these traditional style houses, they have a front and back porch. Even my little apartment, it had a front porch area and a back porch area. The front porch area was bigger, and I think the reason why the front porches are usually bigger than the back porches is, especially if you live in town, it's so you can sit there and watch the parades, or people watch. I mean, that's definitely what we did when we lived there. We just kind of parked outside, and while everybody was trying to find a spot in the street to watch the parades, we just sat on the porch, and it was a great time. I wanted to really light this lot up. I did not want it to be dark by any means. I wanted it to kind of shine. So I'm putting around a lot of little lawn lamps. I call them lawn lamps. You can call them whatever you want to. But yeah, I'm sprinkling those around, and you'll see me kind of like stop the video, zoom out, and try to see how much light it is actually giving off, and I do add more as I go throughout this video, just because I wanted it to look very beautiful at night. Like, I was very, very particular about the way this house looked on the outside, not just in the day, but at night. I wanted, like, the way the shadows was casting, I wanted everything to look as perfect as how I saw this lot in my mind. So I'm adding more lights around the pool and the backyard area, and it ended up just being like perfect in my mind. If you think I should have done something differently, because sometimes I'm in my own world and I overlook things, please comment down below. I only want to get better, I promise you. So I decided to light up the balconies. At first I wasn't really planning on it because it's just for show anyways, but I loved how it turned out looking at night. So now we are finally working on the inside of this build, and again, this is kind of when you start to see that this house is not very big. The girth of this house is taken up by all of that porch space. So we have 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. None of the rooms are very large. I decided for the downstairs to have one of the bathrooms downstairs. We have our living area. We have kind of like a almost L-shaped kitchen and a little dining spot, and that's basically it. I wanted to make the decor in this house not look very antique-ish. I wanted it to have, like, you know, those hints, but still like this is modern. This person, this sim, she lives in this time, right? I decided to do something a little bit different with the kitchen. I know you see like the square right there, and I wanted to do something grand with the oven, and it just didn't work out. The kitchen just wasn't big enough for my idea to work, so I ended up taking that out later, just in case you're wondering. And right now I'm just kind of decorating the front entrance, and I wanted all of the rooms in the house to have candles and little plants. I really tried to not, I guess you could say cozy, but make it like very neat and full of personality. I don't see these Sims as like into gardening and really like nature loving Sims, but I do add hints, like they have an appreciation for it. They're just not really in it. I would think if someone who was an art critic or a food critic, that they would be very particular about the decor in their house. So right now I'm trying to kind of add different aesthetics, different kinds of tones. I kind of stick with a lot of variations of wood and hints of yellow throughout the house, and I feel like that just really kind of married the idea that I had. A lot of the pictures I put up, you know, very focused on nature. There's no cityscapes, things like that, which I guess I totally could have gone that route, but we have so many cityscapes and those colors are so loud. I wanted the inside of this house to be neutral. At first, I wasn't thinking about putting a fireplace down, because really houses in New Orleans, some of them have fireplaces. Most of them are bricked up because you don't really need them. It gets cold maybe like a week out of the year, and that's about it. But I really, really liked the way this fireplace from the Businesses and Hobbies pack looked in this living room. So I decided to keep it there, and it kind of, to me, added a little bit of modern elegance to the room. I don't really see these Sims as being much into TV. This is just kind of like a room to gather and talk, but I do see them as people that probably go outside and hang out by the pool, and that is more of like their visiting and social time. I'm using a lot of things from the Modern Retreat kit that we got. That was a kit that, again, I was like, I'm probably not going to purchase it. But then I started looking at some things, and I went, you know what? These pieces are really pretty. They're very aesthetically nice. Like, they are modern, but they're not so modern to the point where it looks like it could only be in a urban type of build. It is extremely like cohesive with so many ideas that you could have. And right now I'm just kind of using that as a wall piece, and I am manipulating with the tool mod these pictures that we got from the Adventure Awaits expansion pack. Again, I wanted to add like hints of nature in the house, and I'm just kind of rotating it to where it just looks like a picture frame that is, you know, leaning against the wall, not actually on the wall. And it takes some playing around with, but it ended up being perfect. I absolutely loved it. And right now I'm just adding some pieces to this wall, kind of making it look a little bit more full. And I decided to put like a little cup. Maybe while they're sitting there, they just place this cup on this little shelf. And yeah, I really like this living room. I don't really like think of it as a place that is used a lot, but it's there if you need it. Now we are about to move on to the kitchen. Now the kitchen is pretty thin. I didn't care for this kitchen, I'm not even gonna lie, but I tried to kind of give it this more modern look because I feel like so many of the swatches that we have, it's either ultra modern or very cottagey. So I kind of went the ultra modern route, and right now I'm just kind of messing around with the swatches, and I eventually take these walls away. I had a whole idea of making like this grand area for my oven. I've done it in builds before, but this kitchen was too small for that. So I ended up taking that away, and I just kind of have this kitchen wrapping around this spot leading to the backyard. It's not my favorite kitchen by far, but I also think of like my old kitchen in my apartment in New Orleans. It was at a weird angle like this too. Like you could tell like they added a spot that this must have been a really tiny kitchen and they tried to make it bigger. And I'm like, well, you know what? Instead of rebuilding this whole side of the house and it messing up the outside, this actually is pretty realistic to the kitchen I had. My kitchen wasn't that big, but you get the point. You could tell like things were added on that used to not be there to give it some type of space. But anyways, I wasn't sure if this person would be a food critic or an art critic. So I tried to add a little bit of art and a little bit of like cooking pieces that look very formal and very like neat and put together. I don't like over clutter this space because I just feel like this house is very neat and tidy, and I don't want to like throw that style off too much. And I decided to just throw around some contemporary art pieces, kind of fitting in with the whole modern home that is just in an old house type of feel. So we have this little dining area, and I really like putting dining areas next to like a back door or a side door. I feel like it's kind of neat to have that space where you can go in and out, or you could see outside. I just thought, like that's like a little thing that I do in most builds that I don't realize I'm doing until I'm editing, and I go, wait, I do that a lot. I kind of like it. So now we're moving on to the downstairs bathroom, and it's pretty thin. I decided to put clawfoot tubs in both of the bathrooms because, again, when I lived in New Orleans, it seemed like most people, unless they had a house that was either new or newly remodeled, we all had clawfoot tubs. And I didn't realize until after I moved that clawfoot tubs is like a precious thing. Not many places have it. So I love the clawfoot tubs in The Sims. We have a handful of them, like different styles and things like that. but it's so pretty. If you are like, but I really want my Sims to take a shower, if you like to play with mods, definitely check out Little Miss Sam's Quick Bath mod. And I mean, all it does is they take a bath and it's very quick. It takes them like 2 hours in the game to take a friggin' bath. But if you download that mod, it's like they're taking a shower. It takes a lot less time. So I don't mind having baths in all of my bathrooms anymore because of that mod, because it was super annoying before I found it. So right now I'm just kind of covering these huge windows up with these long flowing curtains. These are the best curtains that we have ever gotten. I wish we had more like this, where it just covers and it doesn't look like, the fabric doesn't look weird. I feel like so many of our curtains just are ugly. I try to like some of them and try to fit them into a style, but I always go back to this type of curtain because it's just the only one that looks pleasing to the eye. So now we're moving on into the mom's bedroom, and I just keep it like very businessy. I don't put a TV in it, but I do put a computer and a little work desk, little workstation, and again, some art, some different kind of art pieces to go with this personality that I see her having. And for the daughter, her room is pretty small, and I make it as simplistic as possible. I really loved this blue that I had on the walls, so I tried to kind of go with that scheme and make her room look kind of elegant and just really like calm and cozy. I didn't really go deep into like their personalities. This was just like little things that I tried to think of as I was building to decide how I wanted to decorate the house. And I just felt like her room came together really nice. Even though it was small, the space was kind of utilized. But we are nearing the end of this video. Stay tuned for a quick little tour. I have some really, really pretty screenshots for you guys. And again, if you want to check this out on the gallery, my EA ID is listed down below. But until next time, have a good one.